Well, that's not actually true.
It's actually not true.
A lot of people think that.
That's a common myth. You know, I've heard that.
Okay, that one actually is true.
And this is should have asked the tour guide.
So welcome to Lafayette Square Park, which used to be President's Park until President Thomas Jefferson cut out Pennsylvania Avenue. So if you've been to the north front side of the White House, you've been on Pennsylvania Avenue, you know there's this big, beautiful park right here. It was named for the Marquis de Lafayette in 1824, but his statue here was actually the second statue to be added to the park. First statue was the statue of President Andrew Jackson, which maybe you've seen in one of our previous videos. Now, the Marquis de Lafayette really comes to prominence in the United States during the American Revolution. He grows up as an orphan, he's wealthy, he marries another wealthy young French woman when he's only 16 years old. He wants a military career. That doesn't really work out in France. In 1777, despite the fact that the King of France forbids him to go, the Marquis de Lafayette sneaks out in the dead of night, leaves behind his wife, gets onto a ship. He's 19, he doesn't speak English, and he comes here to help fight in the American Revolution. He would write to his wife on that boat that the happiness of America is tied to that of humanity. He's going to become a good friend of George Washington's, a very close aide-de-camp, and he'll be by Washington's side through much of the war. Of course, Lafayette is going to have to go back to France. If you take a look at the statue, he's depicted here appealing to the French National Assembly. He's going to get us guns and ships, which we're going to need to help win the war. Lafayette is going to have a key role in our victory at Yorktown. He's truly America's favorite fighting Frenchman. Now, one of my favorite things about the Marquis de Lafayette is that he continues that close relationship with George Washington for the rest of his life. If you've been to Mount Vernon, you maybe seen the key to the Bastille prison, which hangs in George Washington's home. That was a gift from the Marquis de Lafayette. In 1824, the Marquis de Lafayette came to visit the United States. He went to all 24 of the states in the country at that time. He was greeted as a hero. That's when this park was named to honor Lafayette. There were so many people to see him here, they named it for him. When the Marquis de Lafayette died, he was buried, of course, in his home country of France. But a little poignant note. He was so close with George Washington that after his death, they took a little bit of soil from Washington's burial site at Mount Vernon and sent it to France, and it lies on top of the Marquis de Lafayette's grave today. So that bond between America and France rooted in Washington and Lafayette's friendship.
So behind me we have Baron Frederick von Steuben, who was not born a baron, but he decided he wanted to be one, and so that's what he became. We should all try that. Steuben actually had a lot of success with the German military, but he was most likely homosexual, which is not going to hold him in good stead with a lot of the people in Europe at that time. He gets sort of blackballed and blacklisted and goes to Paris for a while. He hooks up with Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin tells him all about the America and about the revolution that's going on and how we really need some help with the military side of this war that we're fighting. But Steuben sounds interested, but Ben Franklin says, look, we've had trouble with a lot of these foreign mercenaries who want to come over and get a high rank and a pension and not do too much. So if you're coming over, you need to start from scratch as a volunteer. And so Steuben thinks about it for a while, and we like to think he is excited about the idea of America, but more than likely he probably burned some big bridges over in Europe. So he comes to the United States. George Washington immediately sees his value and appoints him Inspector General of the Army, later Major General. And what Steuben's genius was for drilling, record keeping, sort of keeping the soldiers in line, all very German qualities. And he does a great job making the Revolutionary War, the army, from a ragtag group of people who don't have an aim to a fighting force. He remains in the United States, becomes a U.S. citizen. Little pop culture note, if you've ever seen the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the famous scene where he's singing on a parade float, that's actually taken at a von Steuben Day parade in Chicago.
I did not know that.
True story.
Very cool.
Yep. Thanks for checking out our videos. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and see on Facebook and Twitter. Look below and send us your questions. If you have any questions about DC history or DC tourism, we are happy to answer your questions.